everybody, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in April and then like the one book that I read in May. So yeah, let's get into the video. So first let me talk about all the books that I read for the Kindle Unlimited thing that I was doing, and then I'll talk about the physical books. I'm only going to talk about the Kindle Unlimited books that I actually completed because a lot of them are indie published and I don't want to just talk about books that I DNF'd, which there were a lot of because I was being really picky. If I just started and I wasn't feeling it, I was like, never mind, moving on, next book. So because I really wanted to find something that I enjoyed, and I found something that I enjoyed a bit, but I didn't actually find any new favorites just because the one that I thought was going to be a new favorite, the series just went in a really different direction than I was really hoping that it would. So the first thing that I read for the Kindle Unlimited stuff was Guild of Secrets by Sherry L. Tapscott, and it's a story about this girl who is in this like urban fantasy sort of world where there are like these houses of different types of magical groups, and she ends up being with this like group of enforcers, essentially as like their secretary to watch them and make sure that they're not breaking any laws or whatever. And they go to try to catch these people, and all this stuff happens. And I thought it was fun, and I thought it was breezy. So if you're looking for like a really breezy urban fantasy with like a different sort of main character who's not all like, oh, I can handle anything, she's sort of more like feminine, and she's also kind of like rich and spoiled a little bit. She has to kind of learn how to be a part of a team and things like that, then this is definitely be a book that you want to check out. It didn't really click with me a ton just because I didn't really love the characters, and it wasn't like dark enough or complex enough for me to really like latch on as hard as I do to some other books, and so I thought it was pretty good. But I just didn't want to continue with the series because it didn't like grab me in that way. The next book that I read was called Curse of the Wolf King by Tassonia Odette, and that is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. It's about this girl who ends up kind of trapped at this house with a monster, but the reverse this time is kind of that he's the king of the unseelie court, and so normally he's in his unseelie form, which in this world would be his like animal form, which is a wolf, and so he's basically always been in his wolf form, but he's actually trapped in his human form, and so it's a Beauty and the Beast that's actually like a little less uncomfy, because she's falling in love with a person. So anyways, I liked it. I thought that the vibes were really good, and I liked a lot of things about it. I thought that the setting was really, really fun, and I really liked the way that some of the twists were taken on the original Beauty and the Beast story. Again, I just didn't quite click with the characters, and so maybe like someday I would want to try more books in the series just to see if like there's a different main character that I would connect a little bit more with, because personally I just get a little bit frustrated, and I understand that it's Belle, like I know that it's Belle and she's supposed to read, but like I get a little bit frustrated when I'm reading a book and the main character reads, and this is supposed to be like this thing that's just, oh, it's so unique, she reads books, and I'm like, but everyone reading this reads books, so it doesn't feel like quirky. It's fine. I don't really think that was the point. I just get annoyed about this, and I don't even understand why. Like, I can't articulate to you why that irritates me, but it does a little bit. And then also just, she was kind of more brash and like a little bit more self-centered than I usually like in a heroine. And I understand that like different main characters are going to have different flaws, but I just thought it was a little bit annoying. But apparently I was really easily annoyed last month with main characters, so like really you should take what I say with a grain of salt. And if it sounds like you want a really atmospheric, sort of like slightly twisted on its head Beauty and the Beast story in this like really magical world with the Fae, I would definitely check this one out. It's really, really well done. I was just getting annoyed with main characters last month, so yeah. Again, maybe it's a me problem. The next book that I read in April was called Frost by C.N. Crawford. This is something that Cheeky Chapters has talked about a lot on her channel, and that was definitely what encouraged me to pick it up. And you know what? It was really, really fun. It was sort of, The Bachelor meets Fae world. I definitely liked it. I thought the main character was good. I liked a lot of things that happened throughout the book. I thought the setting was really fun. I just thought that it was actually a little bit rushed. Like, personally, I would have liked it to be a lot longer and a little bit more complex. So I didn't end up picking up the second book just because, I don't know, I wanted to keep trying things. Maybe someday I'll go back and read it because I definitely did enjoy it, and it was a really unique take on all of those things, and I thought that the setting and the writing were really good, but I wished it had a little bit more to it. It's actually like a pretty small book, I think, if you see the print copy, so I think I was, even still knowing that, like a little bit surprised at how rushed some parts of it felt. But, you know, like there was one of those typical scenes where, you know, there's like the talking between the guy and all of the bachelor and all of the girls or whatever, and they were just so short, and I just wanted more out of it. Like I wanted everything to be explored a little bit more, but maybe that's a sign that it was a good book because I wanted more out of it. So again, I would recommend that you check it out if any of that sounds interesting to you, because it's definitely a good book. Sorry if I'm making the mic make annoying sounds. I've realized that I do that a lot while I'm holding this, because apparently I shouldn't hold things. And I'll just like, you know, grab it and I'll like hold it by the fluff, which I don't think you're supposed to do. Or I'll like twist the bottom. So anyways, sorry, I'm trying to stop doing that, but I like play with things when I'm nervous, and filming makes me nervous still, so sorry everybody. The next book that I read on Kindle Unlimited was called Fierce Heart, and it was by Tara Grace, which is kind of fun because she has the same name as me. I don't know if she goes by Tara or by Tara, but I go by Tara, so I'm going with Tara. And it was exactly what I wanted. It was this story about this human girl who enters into a marriage alliance with an elf who's a lot like Legolas, but he's like quiet and kind of reserved and all this stuff, and they have to enter into this marriage alliance. And I liked that for most of the book nothing happened except that they were trying to like navigate this new awkward relationship with each other in like the most adorable way. Like they're both just adorable little muffins. Like I don't know, they were just so sweet, and I just was like, yeah, I don't need a plot, I just want to watch y'all be adorable. But, of course, the book did end up kind of having more of a plot towards the end, which was fine, right? But I mostly just cared about their relationship. And so then I read the next two books in the series, which were called Warbound and Deathwind. And without getting into too many details, just because like I don't want to give spoilers, they ended up having a lot more plot, like world plot, battles and stuff like that, and I just didn't care about it. And I don't think that was because it was poorly done, because it wasn't. It was, and normally I would be a person that wanted a plot, but I was just like, can we just go back to like when they were hanging out in their room and drinking hot chocolate and trying to like figure out how to talk to each other and like interact in each other's different cultures? Can we just go back to like sitting around and not doing anything? And so again, I feel like this was a me problem. I highly recommend this series if you love like the sweetest, most adorable, like clean romance in the history of the world. Like it's so cute. And you know, if you're looking for something with a plot too, it does pick up after the first book, so just expect that. I think if I'd been expecting it, I would have liked it more. It was just, I was sort of expecting it to be another like cute fluffy romance when I picked up the second one, and it very much was not that. I think if you go in with the right expectations, this could be a really great series for you. I just did not go in with those expectations to the second book, and then I was kind of just like sad because I really missed the vibes from the first book. But the first book is really, really good. It's so adorable. That concludes everything that I read on Kindle Unlimited that I finished. There were some other ones that I started or whatever, but I didn't finish any of them. And yeah, but I also read a few books in print during the month. So the first book that I read in physical book, although I don't think it was actually the first one, but we're gonna go with it, was Trust at the Emerald Sea. And I did actually read my physical copy because I had been waiting to get my physical copy to start reading, and it was a delight. Like the illustrations were amazing. Holding this book is amazing, if a little nerve-wracking, and it was so sweet. It was very sweet, but it also had a good plot, and like it was, I think, for fans of The Princess Bride, just like they were saying, like it was just like, I wouldn't change a thing, not a thing. Perfect book. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, all the stars. I will give this all of the stars. It's so good. And I don't even need to tell you what it's about. You already know what it's about, but it was perfect. It was everything that was promised. So I had a blast. I had a most excellent time, and I recommend it to everyone who likes good things, and particularly if you like The Princess Bride, or if you like just sweet little adventure romance stories. But of course it was still Sanderson, so there were still like twists and turns that I like somehow didn't see coming, even though I really, really should have, but I wasn't thinking about it. I don't know. So it was really great. So good. The next book that I read, which was actually the first book that I read in April because I had already been reading it, I think in March if I remember correctly, was The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. Now, it's been a really long time since I've read this as I'm filming this video, but I really enjoyed it. It was a great sea adventure with all of the things that are promised in the front. So yeah, I mean, it's this older lady pirate who has to get back into the adventure game one last time to help out one of her old crewmates' children and go on this big adventure and, you know, deal with demons and monsters and people who are evil and pirates and all this good stuff on a ship, and it's very good. It's very good. A little bit weird at times. Everyone, the camera keeps deciding to turn off, which is really irritating. A little bit weird at times. Like, there were some stuff on, like, this weird island that I won't get into too many details about that I was like, this feels like a fever dream a little bit, but that's cool. Anyways, it was great. Also, look at the back. I like the back almost more than the front. Look at it. It's so cute. Anyway, it was really great. I'm glad that I got Book of the Month just to have this. The last book that I read was The American Roommate Experiment. And I know this is not the first book in the series. It's not. But this one had better reviews than the first one. And it sounded really sweet. And so I got it, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, my one caveat, I suppose, I really liked the main character. I thought she was really great. I thought that the idea for the romance was really great, but I thought that the guy, I didn't care. So I'm excited to read the first one because I've heard that the guy is more of like a grumpy guy, and I like that more. Because this guy he felt like too perfect. Now, that doesn't make the romance any less cute. It was cute. It was great. I enjoyed reading it. It was fun. Because it's been a really long time since I read, like, a pure romance, if that makes sense. But the main guy, he was just... It felt like what the author's dream guy was, if that makes sense. Like, he could cook, and he was a surfer. He was really in tune with his emotions, and he, like, noticed when she wore high heels, and he, like, complimented these very specific things that I've never seen a guy notice or care about, generally. Obviously, I haven't interacted with every guy on the planet, but, like, it just felt like an unrealistic combination of things, to the point where, like, he didn't really ever do anything wrong. That's not entirely true, but, like, mostly it is. And it was just like, oh... Is this your dream guy? And maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all romances are supposed to have, like, a really dreamy lead. But I didn't think he was dreamy. I thought he was, like, boring. But again, I really like a romance where the main guy is snarky and a little bit grumpy. And, like, the girl has to be won over and he has to be won over. And there's, like, banter and snark. And they were both just too nice to each other. I don't know what to tell you. So I liked it, but it was fine, you know. But I'm more excited for the first one because from those characters' appearances in this book, it seemed like they both had a lot more spunk and a lot more, like, conflict. And again, like, I don't think that, like, you have to have an unhealthy relationship for a book to be interesting, but I do want there to be, like, some spark. Instead of just, like, we're both so perfect, so of course we love each other. So anyways. Wow, I'm cynical. Anyway, oh, my audio stopped now. See, everyone, this is what I get for not filming for a long time. Is that I get things that don't work because I don't remember all of their weird quirks. So anyways, I'm sorry that the audio is probably awful right now and that the video is going to have a random gap in the middle of it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, everybody. Oh, wait, actually, while things aren't working, I also read in May, because I promised that I would do May in this video as well, I read Cold Days, the next book in the Dresden Files, and it was really, really good. Just like all the Dresden Files lately, it was amazing. There was some, like, slightly uncomfortable content in it. I would say, like, look at trigger warnings if you are still worried about that at this point in the series, which I kind of figured probably you're not. Because it's not, like, a new issue. Well, it was new in the way that it was presented, I suppose. But I understand why it was there. We were supposed to see, like, the corruption of some things. It's really hard to talk about. Anyways, there were some parts that were like a little bit uncomfortable to read, but I think that they were handled pretty well overall. And anyways, I really liked this book for reasons involving some things that happened in the last books. Wow, it's so hard to review a sequel, everybody. But anyway, great book, pretty cover, excited to read the next one, as per usual. Just loving the Dresden Files. And if you didn't see my last video, look at this beautiful edition of Stormfront. It's so cute. It's so pretty. Ah. Thank you all so much for watching. Yeah, bye.